In this tutorial, we're going to look at how writers can create living, breathing worlds for their characters to inhabit. Now, as writers, it's easy to get stuck in your own head and feel limited by your own imagination. For this reason, I'm going to show you how to begin the world building process by entering a prompt and then allowing AI to share in the idea brainstorming process. For example, here I've created a futuristic desert world by simply entering a few prompts and then having the AI spit out both an image as well as descriptions about this world. So let's jump in to show you how I did this. So first of all, I'll be using Scribble as my world building tool here. So if you want to follow along and create your own worlds in Scribble, then simply check out the description below for the registration page link. Now, after signing in, you'll need to have created at least one book. You can do that by clicking on this button up here. Essentially, the world building component of this software are separated by book. So the world for this book will be different than the world for this book. Now, if you're new to Scribble, keep in mind that you can also generate AI book cover art. I have another tutorial linked to below if you're interested in learning how to do that. But essentially, you just input a prompt here, and then you can generate your book cover here. But for now, let's just dive into the book that we want to create our world for. So on our main writing page here, you'll notice a link for people and places. So begin by clicking on that. Now here you'll see that I already have some characters added to my book, but we're not really interested in characters today. Instead, we're interested in the world that they inhabit. So for that, we just need to click on this Places tab. Now we need to click on Add Location. Now on this page, the first and most important thing we need to do is set our world type to main world. And that's because only our main world option will give us the kind of comprehensive world building tools we need for our novel, such as history and culture and so on. If you were creating a bedroom here, for example, that would be classified as an interior. But essentially, if we think about world building in terms of a hierarchy, the interiors and exteriors fit inside this main world. And a bedroom, for example, won't have things like a culture or a political system. And that's why we need to click on main world here. So now let's give our world a name. I'm just going to call my world Desert World. You can be more creative. Next, under style, we can enter the style we want our world to have. So for example, I could write something like futuristic or ancient here if I wanted. Next, we need to type in what our world is. So in my case, I want to create a desert village. So I'll type that here. Now, under where, if you want to kind of give a nod to a certain location, or if your world exists kind of in the real world, you can enter that real world location here. And I'm just going to type in something like Sahara Desert. Now, under that, you can type in any other keywords you want to add to the prompt. So for example, bohemian, elegant, cyberpunk, dystopian, and so on. I'm just going to start by running with this kind of bohemian prompt to see what we get. Now I have a pro account, so I'm going to select 5 here and then run the tool. However, if you're on a free account, I suggest you only select 1 here so you don't burn through your free AI runs too quickly. So here, I think the results are pretty interesting. These images are definitely kind of going in the direction of the world I was imagining. In your case, if they're not yet, perhaps these first images just might act as a springboard that will inspire your next set of writing prompts. So for example, for the world I have in mind, perhaps I'm imagining sort of a bigger world. So in that case, the word village here might not be the right word. So let's swap out village with city and then change bohemian to elegant and modern. Now let's generate the images again to see what we get. Now notice that my world is now much bigger. Now if this is the look I was going for, I could just select the image that works best for me by clicking on this button here. Now you'll notice the image also gets added up here when you do that. Now keep in mind, if you don't want to use this AI tool, there's also this tab here where you can upload a visual reference for your world. So feel free to use that instead if that's what your story calls for. But now I'm going to use this image and I'm just going to click on Add Location. So now this main world is added to my book here. Now at any time I could go back and reselect one of the other images that were generated for this world by clicking on this new image button here. Here I could just swap out this image for another, or if I wanted I could continue creating new images for this world up here. But let's imagine we're happy with this image and we're ready to start the world building process. So now we can click on Edit Location. Now because this was a main world, we see all these different tabs here from history to culture and politics and so on. If, however, this was just labeled an interior or exterior and not a main world, we would only see the summary tab here. So now we're ready to fill in each of these sections. Now, if you're not sure what each of these tabs means, you can just read through the placeholder text, which explains what type of content will go under each tab. For example, if I click on the history tab here, it will tell me why writing about history is important and what type of content I could include in this section. Also notice there is a section for systems here. The placeholder text talks about the importance of setting the rules and boundaries of a magic system, but this tab could be used for any type of system that's important to your world. It doesn't have to be magic. Also, if these descriptions and prompts aren't enough and you want to get your creative juices flowing, then you can just use the AI world building assistant to help you create each part of your world. Now, at a minimum, this tool, which you can access by clicking on this icon here, will really help you with the creative process during the beginning brainstorming phase. Again, simply click on this button and then type in the part of the world you need help building. So for example, I'll tell the AI world building helper to write a paragraph about the geography, topography, and climate of a fictional futuristic dystopian village in a desert named Quarak. So here the AI tells me that Quarak is a fictional dystopian village located in the hot and dry desert. The geography consists of vast stretches of flat, sandy terrain surrounded by towering sandstone cliffs and rock canyons. It goes on and on, but essentially it can just really help push me in the right direction for building out this location. So again, I can either just use this as a springboard to help me generate my own geography, or I can just copy and paste it for now on my geography tab. I can always come back and revisit it later. But as you can see, the combination of these images as well as the responses we get from these prompts really help with the creative process. I think these tools really help writers with coming up with visuals and ideas that they might not think about on their own. Also, with world building, it's important to focus on talking about the parts of your world which have a direct impact on your character and your plot. If you start coming up with details which don't make it onto the page or don't kind of impact something else that makes it onto the page, then you probably don't want to start kind of adding too many of those details into this world building tool. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you found this world building tool helpful, and I hope that these AI elements really help you kind of fight against the stock images that initially come to your head and essentially help you create unique worlds for your characters to live in and for your audiences to enjoy. Again, if you want to use this tool yourself, a link to sign up to Scribble can be found below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe as we publish content regularly aimed at helping writers become better authors. Thanks for stopping by today.